Hi there, Leroy.
Hey, what's going on?
Well, I got a new toy.
Okay.
Wait till we have a little bit of a quorum, but I did a bunch of. Oh, I see you got a green screen.
Well, I had one and it's two different colors greens.
Oh, really? Well, okay.
I'm trying to get the lighting adjusted right so that it balances out. But
So, at any rate, I went over your notes from last week,
okay.
and I went and did a bunch of research on the things. In addition, some things have changed a little bit since you got yours. Um, but at any rate, so I bought myself a. I will show you here. Uh, I don't know if you can
Okay.
see this.
Yeah.
At any rate, it's standard dongle. I bought a package which came with a cable and several different antennas.
Right.
Well, it comes with one base, and then you've got several different.
Dipole style antennas.
Actually, these are more like a whip antenna. Uh, they're not split,
Okay.
which a dipole would be, but they're end fed. There's actually, I think there's three of them. With one, two of them are fixed length, and one is an adjustable length. At any rate, so then I started in. Yeah, just a moment. Trying to plug a USB connector in the dark. So at any rate, it. Oh, that's good. Yeah. So at any rate, I you know said okay, and I started looking for software, and I had there are a number of different, obviously different YouTube videos on them, including the one that I shared last week
Right.
with Spears. Actually, it's Spe- Spears, not Spears. Um, at any rate, I've installed several pieces of software, but hey, Vicente, I can't seem to get it to work yet.
Okay.
However, I'll share one observation. Every every one of the videos that I watched and articles I read online and so forth and so on said these dongles tend to get very very hot.
Yeah.
Well, guess what? After running it for hours, mine is stone cold. So I'm beginning to think the problem is not the software I'm using, but I might have gotten a dud. So I'm going to play with it for a few more days. I've only spent like a day and a half on it so far, but I'm going to play with it for a few more days and see if I can at least get it to heat up. Now, I did I installed the RTL 433 software on my Linux desktop, and I tried that out, and it sees the thing. And if you go to the verbose mode, so it shows all the parameters and so forth and so on. All the parameters are there, but the fact that it's staying cold suggests to me something's not working right. So, and every article I read on said the one problem with these things is they just get hot.
They get hot. That's why
Very, very
the
hot.
metal ones are the metal ones act as a
Heat sink, yeah.
heat sink. Yeah. Um, I know with my Cubic software, is that what it's called? Cubic?
Yeah.
Until I actually click on the waterfall and a
Yeah.
frequency, you won't get anything.
Okay, so that's cubic,
Yeah.
and that's in the standard
Uh,
Debian
I
repositories.
I think I installed it outside of the repositories because I went with the latest model, but I think it's in the repositories. Yeah.
Okay, let me see if I've got that.
But that one, if you know you got the frequency list and whatever, and it'll act like it's working and everything will be there. But until you actually click on one of the frequencies, you won't even hear static. You won't hear anything.
Okay.
And then
How do you spell cubic? Let me just see if I've got it installed.
cubic, Cubic, I think. Yeah, CUBICSDR.
Okay, let me just.
And
I see that
Jim's
I've got
here
it.
and Vicente's here.
What's cubic?
Cubic
Cubic.
X SDRs for those SDR dongles. Software defined radio. So you can
Okay.
listen to, almost every frequency from
It's open source or
I think Cubic is open source, yeah.
Yeah.
But most of them go from, I don't know, way down in the kilohertz range on up to 2 gigahertz.
Yeah. Most of them do not cover the 2.4 gigahertz.
Right.
But they come up just below that.
Just below it. And a lot of them you can push it. You can push them to get a little bit more out of them. Of course, they'll get extra hot doing that, but
Yeah, well, it looks like I've got cubic.
that's the one I use. That's the one I like. But like I said, unless you actually click on a frequency, you're not going to even hear static. And if you're not hearing anything, then the radio the thing's not actually working, so it's not going to get hot.
I think this is a different cubic. Let me share a screen, okay?
Should be able to, yeah.
Okay, let's see if I can find the right spot. Okay. All right, just a minute. I gotta find a sucker. All right. Can you see that?
Nope.
Okay.
Talks to his handsome guys.
Yeah, right. Just
Some
a
more
minute.
than others.
Let me.
I mean, me and really are making y'all look bad. Just saying.
Just a minute. Let me figure out how to get this thing shared. Oh, share screen. Bam. Here we go. Share. That's what I see under cubic, but this is an ISO creator. It's not
Yep, that's not it.
That's not the right one.
That is not the right one. It may not be in the repositories. I don't know. I'm pretty sure I installed
well,
it.
are you
through
sure
Tor.
the spelling of it? You sure it's not with a Q?
No,
Hey, the
it's not.
cops are after you now. Leroy. I see him back there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They finally
Those
found
crazy
it.
cops. They were
Yeah,
out in front of the house at 6 o'clock in the morning. Those crazy
Yeah.
cops.
yeah.
I put a link to Cubic STR in the chat.
Oh, okay. I see it. So it's cubic SDR. Okay. Let me see if I can grab that from the repository.
You know, it may not be in the repository. All I know is I installed it from source. So
Okay.
that's all I know. I'm not even going to pretend like I know anything else.
Oh yeah, it's in the repository. I'm just installing it now. Yeah. I just did apt install
Yeah.
cubic SDR.
Yeah.
Because I'm running a Debian based version distribution.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wondered because I see I just found Cubic on my machine and it says it's an ISO creator, and I thought, I don't think so.
That's not it. That's not the right one.
Yeah. So you're projecting a camera from the front of your house onto your green screen?
No. That's a picture.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So you couldn't get a big enough one color green screen?
I have been fighting with this green screen for like 3 weeks. I just had a piece of fabric hanging behind me before, and it wasn't quite big enough. And then we bought a quote unquote professional green screen, which is anything but professional, quote unquote.
Is that one of these on a frame, or is that?
Yeah, it's on a frame.
Yeah.
And actually, it's not bad, but you don't want to move it around. So in my particular situation, I have to move it around because you can see the door. That's
You
how
can't
we get
out
in
the
and
door.
out of the green screen scene between. So it's one of those green screens that you don't want to move around. But when I put it up today, I got it 3 days ago. And when I put it up today, there was a gap where you can see the, the crease in the Crown Vic. There was a gap there. So I threw up the old material that I had, and it's not quite the same color. And then that area is a little bit darker anyway, so that really throws it off. And then it did not look right with the workbench. Everything looked out of whack with the workbench. So I threw the piece of cloth up on the workbench, which helps. But I gotta tweak it or get some lights in front of me to light it. Oh, hang on. Hey Google, turn on the pole light. Now there's some light behind it. That might help. I don't know. But it's going to take some tweaking. I actually had it better, and right before I started the meeting, I said, it's still a little off, so I hit the select a different color, and I made it worse.
So you have to specify the color of the green screen?
No, but it gives you the chance to pick a color if it's not quite right. So I did, and I made it worse.
Well, I shopped for green screens a while back. I never actually sprung for them because one, they were too expensive, and two, I was being cheap. But the ones that I particularly like are those that are like a projection screen that pull down out of a roller, and you either fasten them on a frame, or you fasten them to the wall, or you fasten them to the ceiling, and then
Correct.
you can pull them down. But
That's
when you're not using them, you can put them up
pull,
out of the
pull them
way.
back up. That's what I was going to buy originally. And then we came across this one that's on a frame for $40 cheaper. And I said, okay, I'm cheap. I don't want to pull down if I don't have to.
Well, I
I'm
just
kind of
proved that I'm
wishing that
cheaper than thou. Okay.
I'm kind of wishing I would have just sprung for the extra, And
Uh-huh.
I think I still would have had kind of the same problem just because of where the how this room is set up and how the door's set up. But I think having a pull down would have worked a little better. I could have left it alone and just pulled it down when I needed it and put it up. But see, you've got a good blank wall behind you. You can,
Well, there's a lot of stuff there.
but you could
Depending,
select a white background and
yeah, depending on which, whether I'm using regular resolution or high res, um, it makes a difference of how much of the room you see. When I use high res, what I see is I see all the way from the window on my left side to almost the right edge of my bookshelf on my right side. If I use the lower res, then it pulls in.
Mm.
So, and I think that's what you guys probably see. You probably only see just slightly bigger than my shoulder.
now I can see the edge of your bookcase and your window. I
Oh,
see
so
all of it.
you can see my monocular tripod there.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you're seeing the same thing I'm seeing.
Yeah, I
At
can
any rate, I think I'm gonna spring for one of those I can fasten to the ceiling. Thing is, I don't know how long they are, and I've got 9-foot ceilings in here, so I may have to put them on chains or something and drop them down from the ceiling a little bit.
that was part of our debate too, was just how big is whatever centimeters this is or whatever.
Yeah.
So we used Google and converted it, and Google said it would fit, and it doesn't quite fit. So,
Okay.
but I'll figure it out. This is the first time I've got the new green screen up, and you can still see there's like right on the edge. There's you can see the door and everything.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna have to find the right color fabric or whatever, and just start throwing fabric up around me.
Yeah. If you just get a bolt of some kind of plain fabric, that's a lot less expensive than a professional green screen. That's for sure.
This let's see. This green screen only cost $43.
Really?
Yeah. So
That's including the frame?
that was the frame and everything. That was here, I'll see if I can find a link to it. It came with 3 things of fabric, but the fabric isn't as long as they say. So you still kind of need to buy fabric.
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking for the link. I bought it on eBay. My biggest problem with it is the stand itself is a little flimsy, and if you don't have it exactly level, it will fall over. This isn't the one that this is like the one I bought, but it's not from the same people. But that's exactly like the one I bought. And it's 46 bucks. So they've jacked the price up by $3.
So what's Vicente got there? Do you
Oh.
have a green screen there, Vicente?
No,
Or is that a green screen that you're projecting on, or is
no, it's just my background in my office. Let me show you. No, let me remove the background.
one thing I discovered about
Jim's got pig ears.
Hey, why?
does that come with sound effects, Jim?
If you like,
I can't figure out how to get these filters like that to work.
Well, one thing I discovered about it is I was trying Zoom on an older machine, and it said it didn't have enough horsepower to do a green screen background. So it must be using a lot of cycles there to do that.
I was messing with OBS, which is the software that I use when we have the live meeting, the regular meeting, and it will do chroma key like this, and it does it awesomely. It doesn't have a problem. But I guess rendering it in real time and rendering it slightly out of real time is a little different.
Mm-hmm.
See, don't fall off. You're breaking the illusion. The illusion has been broken.
don't look behind the curtain.
What you got, Vicente?
Oh, he's Batman.
Well, that's
Nice.
cool. Is that supposed to be a lunchbox or what is it?
It looks like a small lunch box, but it's maybe
That'd be a really small lunchbox.
It's for pens, pencils, and whatever. I like it. I just saw it.
Yeah, that's cool. Where'd you get it?
I don't remember. It was 2 years ago, but I am competing with Leroy about that. Who is Batman?
I'm Batman. I started.
Oh no, that's cool, Jim. How does it know where to put it relative to your face?
I think it's a face recognition thing.
Okay.
In the plugin.
The grandkid, she calls us on Google Duo every day or so when we don't see her, and she finds it fascinating to run through with the filters like that with her stuffed animals and her dolls and stuff, because they have eyes and mouth, and it'll recognize it's looking for eyes and a mouth is what it's looking for.
Mm-hmm.
And it will recognize like probably 95% of her stuffed animals.
It's face detection, no face
Yeah.
recognition.
Yeah.
So you got a picture of your Sunday boat there, do you, Leroy?
Yep. That's it. I go out on that every couple of weeks.
How long
I
do you
see.
spend?
The Lone Stranger.
So were you actually stationed on that?
Yeah, that's the Memphis. That's the one I was on.
How long were you on
SSN
it?
691.
How long were you on it?
I guess just shy of 3 years.
How was the long trip? The longest?
Well, the Memphis was an R&D boat, so it was in dry dock more than it was out to sea, and we got to tear it apart more than we got to do anything else. You're cracking me up, Jim. We would be out, I don't know, I think the longest we actually were out was probably 3 months. But
So where'd you cruise?
when I was we were stationed in Virginia. And since we were an R&D boat, we really didn't go anywhere.
So you didn't hit the Med or anything like that?
We did one med run the whole time, and we didn't even stop. We went down there, we spent a couple of days in the Mediterranean, didn't even go to the surface, didn't get to look out, didn't get to do anything, came
No
back
shore
home.
leave? No shore leave.
Oh.
God.
And only, I'll be honest, only about a half a dozen of us actually knew where we were, because, you know, I was a nav tech, so we had a decent idea. And some of the old timers that were on board, they knew that they were in the Mediterranean because the hull of the boat was warmer, so they could, you know, they had, there's a temperature difference.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, that was fun. We were down there for 2 or 3 days, did our tests, turned around and came home. Went right back into dry dock.
You got quite a collection there, Jim.
Right before I got out, they moved to Groton, Connecticut, because being that we were in dry dock 90% of the time, they moved the boat close to the dry dock.
Yeah. So you were there in the Groton River then, basically.
I hated Groton.
Yeah, Groton's kind of a dump in my opinion. It's was right across from
New London.
New London, yeah.
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 So the shipyard was in Groton, and the base was the shipyard was in New London, and the base was in Groton.
Yeah.
And hated, my A school was in Groton, so I went to A school and hated every minute up there. I mean, and the weather was miserable. It was always rainy, or it was just miserable. It was miserable.
Yeah, you see, in Groton, you see the sun about twice a year, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. You know, somebody said they named the city right, New London.
Yeah.
I'm like, I mean, it was miserable. And then when I got to my boat and found out that we were an R&D boat and we were going to spend most of our time in New London, I was like, no, I volunteered to go to Virginia Beach. Why? Why do I have to go back to New London? But
they have sub pens both places.
Do what?
They have sub pens both places.
Yeah. Well, Groton, the A school is a submarine school.
Yeah.
And the electronic school was all submarine. It was all related to submarine, and of course, new electric boat who built the submarine.
Yeah, General Dynamics electric boat.
Yep, they're right up there in New London, right across the river, pretty much. Right down the river a little bit, but that's where the dry docks are. That's where the shipyard is. We had more contractors on board than we did actual sailors. That's
yeah. I was interviewed by General Dynamics in New London in get this, 1966. Okay, they were looking for atomic physicists at the time, and it was real interesting to me right until I found out that periodically we got to take a cruise where we didn't see the surface for however many months it was. And I thought, you know what? Uh, Southern California sounds a lot better to me.
You could have, I mean, if you would have worked at Electric Boat, you could have actually worked on my, on the Memphis, because it was commissioned in 71, I think.
Yeah, but I was interviewed in 66.
Yeah, but
So, and by the way, I never went to General Dynamics. I looked the situation over and said, I got four or five other offers, and I think I will.
Staying in the fog and rain and muck in Connecticut does not sound like a fun thing to do.
Well, I tell you, it was capped off by the fact that when I went there for my interview, it was probably the worst, miserable, dreary, drizzling day that they'd had all year. I mean, it was awful. And I said, okay.
Yeah.
It's interesting. I was interviewed several places by General Dynamics, including San Diego, but I ended up with RCA in Somerville, New Jersey. So,
yeah. Well, you didn't miss much.
My ex-wife was from Connecticut, and was a little nicer part. It was Greenwich, Connecticut. So that area was fairly nice. Although, frankly, that area of Connecticut has dreary weather, significant fraction of the year. So yeah. But all geographic areas have their advantages and disadvantages.
Well, that's true. But
by the way, I've found cubic SDR. Let me just see if I can share it. I don't have it populated with anything, but I will.
Ray's here. Hi, Ray.
Let me do this share thing. Bang. So there it is.
Yep, that's it.
Okay,
so the part there that's got the frequency numbers.
Yeah, I assume
FM
that's
band right
here.
there.
Yeah.
That's where you're going to click. You're going to see a waterfall of various things, and you're just going to click there in the frequency block, and up over here on the upper left hand side where it says FM, FMS. Those are your modulation schemes. So if you're listening to FM broadcasts, that's FMS. If you're listening to hams or commercial radio, that's narrowband, NB. I haven't found that LSB and USB actually do a whole lot. They narrow the bandwidth a little bit, but usually AM. Now, sometimes because they've got a preset bandwidth for every one of those. Like if you go down into the aircraft band, you might have to adjust the AM so that it's either a little narrower or a little wider to actually hear the broadcast correctly.
So aircraft is what, 160,
120,
120?
and
Okay,
it's AM.
okay. Well, I will unshare this.
But yes, that's it. You found it. That's the one.
Okay, so I'll experiment with that a little bit. If the dongle stays cold, then I assume I got a dead dongle.
Basically, if you don't even hear static, you probably have a dead dongle,
Yeah.
or your drivers are incorrect. Even though the software picks it up and looks and sees it, the drivers still may be wrong.
Okay.
There are a half a dozen different drivers inside of the repositories, and it's a matter of figuring out which driver works with your.
Well, there's only a half a dozen. You could do it by trial and error.
That's how I found it.
Because
It was not fun, but that's how I found it. Don't shoot
me
that laser at me, Ray.
let me show everybody what I got here. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So here is that right to left shifted?
It's
that
like it's
reverse?
upside down or backwards.
It's upside down.
Uh,
It's
something smart.
it's left right mirrored. Okay.
Yeah.
But at any rate,
In NESDR smart.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's NESDR smart, yes. So there you go. That's the dongle. And then it came with, I ordered a kit that includes the cable, and this goes to a number of different antennas that you can attach to the end of the cable. So yeah, very similar to the one that Ray's got there. This one's all metal. Is that one plastic? Okay. Well, the giveaway here is that the thing is stone cold. So obviously I've got a little more research to do.
Yep.
Oh, come on.
That's probably the worst antenna in the world, Ray.
But it plugs right on. No problem.
Yeah, with
Yeah.
its weird little funky proprietary antenna connector dealy thing.
That's not a standard SMA micro thingy.
I don't think so.
No, it isn't. No, it's similar to the one I got. The dongle has an SMA on it, but the antenna apparatus that I got has got some non-standard thing.
Yeah.
Mine, look, I'll share what mine looked like here. Well, I thought I would.
The two cheap SDRs that I've got use that weird non-standard.
So what would
And
you
this-
recommend as a really good SDR?
Well, the one that Art just bought probably is a good one, since Art did a lot of research.
Well, you're
it's a
setting me
brick.
up there. You're setting me up there to end up with egg on my face there, Leroy. But at any rate, obviously I've got to do a little more research. As I said, I only spent a day and a half on it so far, and I figured
Once you get it, it'll go. You'll go.
well,
Yeah, I'm looking at the frequency for this, and this has got to be the smallest, cheapest, worst antenna that they would make for this.
Period. This
Wait.
this is the one
Without
that
needing to add any further comment.
there's that's the one that Art's got, I think, or if it's not, it's really close.
Yeah, that is, yeah, it's the V4. Yeah, that's the one I've got.
So for $30, and it's got the
Yeah, I paid less than
SMA.
I might have paid 15 most for that.
I paid like $5 for mine that was like the one you've got
Yeah,
at
yeah.
some ham fest somewhere.
Yes,
From some
exactly.
ham that said, this thing's a piece of junk.
You know, I don't
Here,
think I
you
bought mine
buy
at a
it.
ham fest. I think I bought mine at one of the
Maker fairs or
technology
something.
maker fairs.
Yeah.
And there was some ham clubs there, and they were trying to get people interested. So they're like, here you go, have this for $7.
Yep. That was.
We don't want to just give it
that's
away, then you
that's
won't
where
respect
came
it
from.
at all.
That's where mine came from. And honestly, that one's not the worst one. The one that I put in the forum as being my absolute worst is the worst one. But
What are the
I would have
keys
known
that you-
about these no electrics for $30 when I paid $50 for my blue one now.
Well, the no electric you can buy naked for about $30, but on Amazon at least, it gets up to about 40 when you add in the cable and the 3 antennas.
Yeah.
And
See,
I figure,
I got the cable and the 3 antennas and whatever for $50 with that blue one.
yeah,
And it's a very similar product. At least spec wise, it seems like it's a very similar product.